Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone on our Tuesday evening class. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarin Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we have been discussing Nectar of Instruction. We covered first 3 verses so far. So in the first verse, what we discussed was controlling the urges. Vacho vegam, manasah krodha vegam. So controlling the urges of the body and mind. Then text 2, we discussed about the things which are unfavorable for bhakti. Atyahara prayasascha, janasango lolyam. So the 6 things which are unfavorable for our bhakti. And then the third text talks about the things which are favorable for progressing in bhakti. And what are those things which are favorable for bhakti? Utsahan nishchaya dhairya tattat karma pravartanat sangatyago sato vritti shadbhir bhaktir prasidhyati. So enthusiasm, determination, faith, patience, following the rules and regulation, giving up the wrong association, and following in the footstep of devotees. So these 3 verses we discussed so far. Now the next verse is a very good connection, which what Srila Rupa Goswami has been talking actually. So in second verse, Srila Rupa Goswami said, we should give up the association or the dangers of Janasanga, right? The worldly association, how that is dangerous to our progress in bhakti. Then text 3, he says, Sangatyaga, so giving up the worldly association. And also talking about Sato Vritti, following in the footstep of devotees. So to follow in the footstep of devotee, to give up the worldly association, one has to come in the right association of devotees. So the next verse is basically learning how to associate with devotees, right? So if we want to associate with devotees, we have to learn how should we associate with devotees. So in modern time, actually, there is a great challenge in how to develop quality relationship. Now, this today's topic, that's why I said it's very, very important topic. It's like relationship management 101. So here Rupa Goswami is giving all of us some of the very good insights how to develop quality relationship. Because either it's a relationship between family members, between husband, wife, between parents and children, between devotees itself. So everywhere it's a challenge, how to maintain, how to develop and maintain good relationship. So what to speak of people whom we have recently met, right? We come in association of devotees. So we start meeting devotees whom we have not known so far. We have never met them and known them, but just we come in association of devotees. So what to speak of those people, but even in blood relationships, there is so much challenge in maintaining those relationships, loving dealings and loving relationships. Because Kali Yuga, what is the characteristics of Kali Yuga? Kali Yuga flourishes on misconceptions, on disagreements, and it triggers very easily these feelings of dishonesty, faithlessness, mutual disagreement. So that is the symptoms of Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga flourishes by promoting these kind of behavior, these kind of things. So even unfortunately in devotee circle also sometimes that happen. Kali Yuga try to apply its tricks to break apart people, to separate people and bring its own agenda. So we have to be very careful and learn how to develop these loving relationship. So today's talk is not just simply how we cultivate relationship among devotees, but in general, right? In all different relationships, how to maintain and develop those relationships. So what we understand is, see, these principles which we're going to talk about, these are universal principle. It applies everywhere, in devotional circle also, in outside world circle also. Problem in this world, everybody is running behind feelings, right? Everybody thinks, I want to have that experience of love and respect. And people kind of complain so often, I don't feel loved, I don't feel valued, I don't feel respected. Everybody want to be loved, everybody want to be respected, everybody demands cooperation, but we have to understand actually that is the end goal, that is prayojana. We know sambandha, abhideya, prayojana, these are the three steps. So everybody is looking at the end goal, because getting love from somebody, respect from somebody is the end goal, but before that there has to be understanding of sambandha and abhideya. Do I really understand my relationship? Do I do my part to get that desired result? Or I am just hankering for the end result, but I don't even do my part to achieve that desired goal. So we have to learn this theory of relationship. What are those principles which govern these relationship? Now, it's not that I am a mastery of that, but along with all of you, I am also learning. So learning and sharing. So how we can progress in cultivating loving relationship. Everybody directly want to jump to the end goal, right? Like in movies, they show this stereotype kind of feeling. Oh, love at first sight. Oh, dil to diwana hai, dil to pagal hai. What is that? So they see somebody and they just want to experience that ultimate feeling. But both parties are unaware of the principle. They are not able to or willing to make those compromises. So that feeling, what feeling one may be experiencing in the first time, slowly that fades away, because nobody is following the principle which govern those loving relationship. Then it comes to the statement. I ultimately see the boy and girl meet and they feel, oh, I am attracted towards you, I like you so much, I love you, dil mange more. But then when there is no mutual reciprocation, slowly that feeling fades away, and then one is living in the relationship as a compromise. मैं तुम्हें सहन कर रहा हूं. So that comes to that level of statement. Then olden time, if we really understand how the marriage relationship was done or the marriage agreement was done, so agreement is actually done at a very young age, right? I'm talking about olden times, even 50, 70 years, 100 years earlier, how the marriage proposals were done when the boy and girl are very young, in their maybe 10, 11, 12 years. So they set up that relationship, or they are going to, when they grow old or when they become youth, they are going to get married. So the girl knows this is my would-be husband, the boy knows this is my would-be wife. So they develop that sambandha, they develop that theoretical relationship at least, and they once in a while meet at some family gatherings, or sometime going to other person's house and meeting their girl, sometime coming on an occasion basis on some festival to boys house, cooking for them, cooking for the family. So in that way, that relationship is being already established before they really come together. So they are taught to be dutiful towards each other. before they are given that freedom to stay together. Right? So before we come together, first we need to understand how to become dutiful towards each other. So here, before I jump into this verse, actually, I wanted to discuss the little background about this kind of a relationship management. So now my question to all of you, right? I'm going to have a little kind of a conversation. What are the practices which govern healthy relationship? In a relationship, what are the qualities, the values which you will like to see in other person? So if everybody will like to share some qualities, and if somebody want, they can write it down also what everybody is saying, so that we can discuss on that. So my question to all of you, please share what qualities you like to see in other person to develop a healthy relationship.
Trust and mutual respect.
Respect. Okay, very good. So the first point came as mutual respect. Very good point.
Trust
Prabhuji,
also.
caring.
Caring. Okay, very good. So respect,
Acceptance.
caring, acceptance. Okay, very good. Acceptance,
Tolerance. I feel
tolerance.
honesty.
So
Honesty.
acceptance and tolerance. That's we'll talk about it. So I'm just listing, I'm kind of noting down all the qualities or the values which you are telling. So we'll discuss about all these qualities.
Compassion.
Compassion. Okay, compassion about other person, towards other person.
Prabhuji, honesty.
Empathy.
Empathy. And Ankita Mati said honesty.
Forgiveness. Forgive.
Forgiveness. Yes, forgiveness. Okay.
Humility.
Humility. Okay, very good. Okay, anything else?
Yes, Prabhuji, loyalty is the biggest thing right now.
Loyalty. Very good. Thank you for
Most
saying
of the
that
women
one.
would never live with it without loyalty.
Yes, loyalty is a big one.
Other thing is knowledge and ability to earn money. That's a part of life too.
Okay, to being caring, basically fulfilling the needs and expectations, right? That's what you want to say, because earning and giving, that is to provide for their needs, basically. So yes, being caring and be able to fulfill the needs and expectations to whatever feasible or the reasonable degree, not over expectations.
Let me tell you something. Sanskrit slok. Kanya varet rupam mata vittam pita shrutam bandhava kulamichanti mishtanam mitra jana.
Yes.
You know what the meaning is? But
yes.
I'll translate for the other people. These are the things people look at it. Kanya varayati rupam, wife wants the beauty. Mata vittam, mother wants to make sure that he has money. Pita shrutam, father wants to make sure that he is knowledgeable. He can earn money, but he has to have skill and all that to make money. Bandhava kulamichanti, in the old days, the bandhav relatives, they want to make sure that he's from good kul, so that it will, our nath and all that would be happy. And then he says, Mishtana Vitrajara, other people just want a party, forget about everything else. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very, very wonderful verse you have quoted. I will share that verse in the group later. So that is a very wonderful verse talking about what are the different kind of expectations in this relationship, right? At least this is a relationship when they are setting up a relationship between the girl and boy, right, in a marriage relationship. So these principles are, as I said, universal principles. So what we are going to talk now is going over these different values which all of you have mentioned, and maybe briefly discuss about those values, how those values help to develop that healthy relationship. So somebody said respect, right? One should be very respectful towards other person. So we have to understand, what does this word respect really mean actually? How one can develop that attitude of respect towards somebody So respect, if you split that word, it means respect. See again, right? Respect means see again. So for example, if I show you, okay, this is a cell phone. So see again. Oh, this is a cell phone which I'm using in Krishna service. I send some devotional message in the group and all, so I'm able to connect people with Krishna. So this is a cell phone used in Krishna service. So then it becomes a tadiya, then it becomes kind of as a paraphernalia used in Krishna service. You look at your spouse and you say, oh, this is my spouse. Then respect, see again. This is my spouse, which is engaged in serving Krishna. So seeing everything with divinity, then it brings that real respect towards that object. Does it make sense? So respecting somebody on a vague term may not be very feasible. Actually, you may not develop that attitude of respect to somebody. But when you connect everything with Krishna, then you develop that real sense of respect towards that person, that object. So respect, having mutual respect towards each other. Now I will tell all these values which we have, all of you have said: respectful, loyalty, compassionate, being humble, being cooperative, being dutiful. All these qualities, these are mutual reciprocations, right? Love and respect is not a one-way traffic. It has to be mutual reciprocation. So if one person is doing all these things, but the other person is not reciprocating, it does not last long. So first quality we discussed, respect. Yes, very good. Then somebody said accepting, right, and tolerating. Here actually I want to tell you something. Acceptance, yes, acceptance is needed, but rather than saying tolerate, we should use the word celebrate. Why we say that? Because we have to accept the diversity. If everybody, both person are exactly same, then there is no happiness actually, then there is no enjoyment. We have to accept diversity and celebrate. So we have to learn to be happy together by understanding our differences. Yes, I know we have certain differences, but we want to enjoy those differences also. We want to celebrate that. Just imagine Krishna also likes diversity, right? If you are celebrating Janmashtami festival, we go to the temple, and in temple there are only brahmacharis with saffron clothes and nobody else is there. And Krishna also, maybe from his baby cradle, Krishna is looking, oh, see all these brahmachari with their coffins are jumping up and down and there is nothing else. So Krishna also like diversity, and diversity is only possible when there are differences. So there has to be, childrens are also there, Prabhus are there, Matajis are there, so many different activities are going on, different variety of food preparations are prepared. So diversity is mother of enjoyment. So we have to learn to accept the differences and move forward with that, not forcing, no, you have to be exactly like this only. So accept and tolerate rather than tolerate, celebrate. Then somebody said loyalty, right? So loyalty, faithful, trust, these are all basically synonyms. So by understanding other person, we have to show our loyalty towards that person. As in a marriage relationship, the husband and wife have to show mutual loyalty towards each other. And same way, even in devotee relationships also, we have to show that mutual faith, trust, and loyalty. That, oh, I have been engaged in learning with these devotees, I'm engaged in serving with these devotees. So showing that little level of what you call as that loyalty, right? Oh, this devotee has helped me so much to progress in spiritual life. So it becomes my responsibility to be reciprocative toward that person also. Not that now we progress a little bit and then we kick away those person and now we want to do our own things. So loyalty is a big thing, but also at the same time, we have to understand, especially among devotee relationship, to show loyalty toward one person we should not suppress other person. Right? Devotee make that a big mistake, that while showing loyalty toward person, we suppress and make that other person feel neglected and inferior. That also cause a big problem in breakdown of relationships. So being loyal, truthful, honest, and then the next, somebody said being caring. Yes, we have to be caring. And how do we care about somebody? By understanding their needs and expectations. Right? We have to be able to fulfill their needs. And everybody has their different needs. Somebody has the need of, they need time from you. All they need is, oh, I want you to spend some time with me. Right? The wife may say, all I want from my husband is little time. He has no time for me. He is just busy with his own things. Husband may say, oh, my wife, she is just busy with her own things. She doesn't have time for me. So somebody may have expectation of spending some quality time. Somebody may have expectation of some appreciation. I just look forward for some acknowledgement, appreciation for what all I do for you. I am spending so much time and energy for you. Do you really appreciate my efforts? Do you really acknowledge my efforts? Somebody may have need of receiving some gifts, right? They really want to, they feel happy when they receive some gift, at least on some special occasions. So caring means fulfilling their needs and expectations. And then being, one of the quality which I remember is being transparent. One has to be transparent in your dealing, not being diplomatic or duplicitous, openly sharing what you feel, because most of the time the problem in relationship is miscommunication. When we are not able to communicate what we feel, if somebody felt bad on about some remark, some comment, not conveying that, oh, why did you say like this to me? I really felt hurt. I really felt bad about this. But just holding inside your heart and feeling that grudge about that person. So there has to be transparency, open communication. One should be good listener. We just heard that in Sunday class. Prabhuji gave that very good example. Even in a husband-wife relationship, right? One has to be a good listener, trying to understand their feeling, their emotion, rather than being judgmental and giving your own, forcing your own opinion on somebody. So be a good listener first. Even in our office environment now, the trainings, the qualities which they are telling us is receive feedback and give feedback. For that, you have to be a good listener rather than thinking, oh, what I am going to say after this. So your whole consciousness is absorbed in what I am going to say after this. You are not even listening what other person is telling you right now, but you are already processing the information. When my turns come to speak, what I am going to speak. So that is also a big problem. Rather than always thinking what I'm going to say, first be a good listener, because until we listen to other person, how you can communicate to that other person? That's why Krishna has given us one tongue and two ears. Speak double and speak, hear double and speak less. So listen first. And then another very good point, I believe somebody mentioned, we have to be dutiful. Understanding our duty, mutual duties. If there is no clear understanding of mutual duties, that also leads to big problem, because other person is thinking, oh, this person is going to do this. The other person is saying, no, he is going to do this or she is going to do this. So knowing who is supposed to do what, that is also important. So clear understanding of our mutual responsibilities, mutual duties. For example, in a husband-wife relationship, wife is thinking husband is supposed to teach the kids, husband is supposed to take the child to the class, and husband is thinking, oh, wife should maybe do this thing, she is supposed to do this. So there has to be a set boundary, who is supposed to do what. If we don't understand our mutual responsibilities, our mutual duties, then also it does not lead to healthy, loving relationship. And then ultimately, there has to be sharing of learnings, sharing of teachings. Suresh Prabhu said that point, so I'm just repeating that. We have to learn to share with others our teachings, our learnings, and sometimes we have to correct also when needed, right? It's not that, okay, I want to do whatever I want and don't correct me ever. So we have to be willing to be corrected also from every aspect in all relationship. That quality also has to be there to be corrected, because sometimes we are all human beings, we make mistake, and we have to take that responsibility to accept our mistake and be willing to be corrected. And that is what humility means. So somebody said that quality also, humility. So humility means, what does humility really mean? Humility is not that, oh, just do what I say. Don't ask question, don't argue. If you do exactly what I say, that is humility. No, that is not the right definition of humility. Humility means if you are willing to be corrected, accepting your mistake, accepting other person's opinion, and willing to be corrected. So these are all the good qualities which can help us foster good relationship. Couple of months back, I think we did another seminar, mission, vision, and values, right? If some of you remember. So in that also, we talked about, as a devotee community, what is really our mission statement? What is the vision? And what value we should be carrying to fulfill that mission and vision? So those values are also very much overlapping with this. So if you want, you can go back and rehear that recording, that class, and see what are the values we discussed that time also, right? That also pretty much similar thing, having a mutual respect, cooperation, what is that, openness, in terms of truthfulness, and loyalty, transparency. So these are the values which we discussed that time also. And actually, Krishna, by his example, shows all that. Krishna has been doing all these things to us. If we really see, Krishna has been doing all these things to us. Krishna is fulfilling our needs and expectations. Krishna is very caring. He is very loyal and truthful to us. And Krishna provides us the teachings, and Krishna corrects us also. And Krishna is accepting us above all. Even though after all, having our deficiencies, our faults, Krishna still accepts and tolerates. So Krishna has been doing all this to us, even though we may not be doing that to Krishna. Are we really caring about what Krishna wants us to do? Are we really caring about what Krishna like us to do and what Krishna expects from us? Are we loyal towards Krishna? Are we having that respect and mutual cooperation with Krishna? So we should not think, oh, Krishna is giving these teachings in scripture. For Krishna, it's very easy to say. But when it comes to practice, arey jaan nikal jati hai, it's very difficult to practice. But Krishna doesn't say anything which is not practical. Everything which Krishna mentions in the scripture, whatever he's saying in Bhagavad Gita, whatever acharyas are mentioning in Bhagavatam, purports and everything, that all is practical. So in the material world, what problem happen is familiarity breeds contempt. Right? As you come to know somebody, when you get closer to somebody, if we have material vision, if we are too much influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance, then we breed contempt. Then we start seeing the fault in that other person. All we see is the mistakes and faults. But at spiritual platform, if we really develop a spiritual vision, if we come to the platform of mode of goodness, then in spiritual platform, familiarity brings love. The more you come to know somebody, more you get closer to somebody, it should help us to develop love. So more you know about Krishna, more you come closer to Krishna, you develop love for Krishna. More you come closer to the senior devotees, we should develop that love and respect for them. Not that we are putting the glasses of this passion and ignorance and we start seeing fault in them. Arey, ye bolte to aise hain, but he doesn't do in itself. He himself doesn't follow. Or all he do is just correct me always. He doesn't care for me. So because we are having that material vision, so we are not able to appreciate that close association, that reciprocation. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna mentions the very wonderful verse. Somebody shared that in the group, right? When I was asking which is the verse talking about the desires and envy. So somebody shared that verse, Sangat sanjayate kamah kamat krodho vijayate. So there Krishna is talking about the power of association. What happens with actual association? So association could be degrading also, association could be uplifting also. Sangat sanjayate kama. Based on our association, we develop the desire. If we are in the wrong association, we will develop wrong desires. And if we are in the good association, then we will develop those good, positive desires. Positive desires to move forward towards Krishna, to progress in spiritual life. So that's why association is really, really important. How to choose association, the right association. That's why even when we come in the association also, how to develop that loving relationship, that is important. So this text number 4 of Nectar of Instruction is talking about how to develop those loving, affectionate relationship. So what we are going to do is now read that verse and then discuss further what are the 6 qualities mentioned in that particular verse to develop that mutual loving relationship. So this verse, Dadhati pratigrahanati guhyam akhyati prachati bhunkte bhojyate chaiva shadvid bhakti priti lakshanam. So dadhati pratigrahanati guhyam akhyati prachati bhunkte bhojyate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. So offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad and offering prasad are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So here it talks about the 6 things which can be done to develop loving relationship. And again, this is universal principle. This is not about just among devotees. This is universal principle to develop any relationship between family members, between devotee community, with Krishna also. Right? So this is everywhere in at all levels, these principles apply. Let's discuss how. So the 6 activities which are listed here, these are universal. One is to give gifts, to receive gifts, right? Giving gifts and receiving gifts. Then second one, we will discuss about giving prasadam and receiving prasadam. So feeding prasadam and receiving prasadam. And then the 5th and 6th is opening our heart, revealing our heart and inquiring confidentially. So these are the 6 exchanges. And Prabhupada quotes the example, if there is a business meeting, right? One businessman has called out a business conference. So he has organized a conference, maybe in a nice hotel, in some nice conference room booked. So all the different colleagues, the businessmen, they arrive. So in that kind of meeting, generally, what are the exchanges? So when some dignitary comes, some very valuable person, right, comes, what do you give some gifts, give them a flower bouquet or some nice gift to them. So when you receive somebody, showing as a gesture of appreciation, giving them some gift, and then you have a nice lunch or dinner arranged, organized, right, feeding them. So giving gifts, feeding them, giving food, and then there is a conference, open discussion, revealing, okay, this is my business proposal. What do you guys think about it? Is it a good idea? Will you like to invest in my proposal? So that is how the business dealing goes, how the businessman meetings happen. So there also these same 6 activities are happening: giving gifts, receiving gifts, giving food, receiving food, opening your mind and inquiring from others. Either again as a political meeting also, the political head of 2 nations, they meet together, again same 6 exchanges: exchange of gifts, exchange of food, exchange of ideas. And the same principle actually applies to your relationships also. When we are dealing with our relatives, our close friends, so for example, when you are visiting some of your relative or your close friend, what do? You take some gift for them, right? As you go into their home, you give them the gift. They have arranged nice maybe meal for you. They have prepared many different items. So sitting together and eating, and while eating or while just sitting there and talking with each other, so how is life going on? How are the things going on with you? How are the kids doing? How are your parents doing? How is your work going on? So those are the journal exchanges, right? So in every dealing, actually, these 6 activities are universal principle to develop that loving relationship. Now, in our devotee community also, in devotee circle also, same way we need to develop those 6 loving exchanges. At devotee platform, what happens sometime is we may do bhunkte bhojyate, we may do the exchanges of gifts, which is dadhati pratigrahanati. But many time that last principle, which is exchange, opening your heart, guhyati akhyam prachyati, that does not happen, right? Devotees get into a superficial level. Yes, they are meeting together, giving them food. You go to somebody's house, oh Prabhuji, I brought prasadam for you. Oh, I also have some prasadam for you, Prabhuji, you also please take. And on some occasions, on some birthday or something, you give them gift also. But we get too busy preoccupied into our activities that we don't get the time to exchange our heart, to inquire confidentially. Prabhuji, I am lacking in this practice. I'm not able to chant properly. I'm not able to listen or read properly proper books. So how should I do? I'm thinking I'm getting stagnated. Can you please give me some tips? So many times devotees are not opening up their heart for these things. Only those exchanges, gift exchanges and prasadam exchanges are happening. So we have to understand, we need to bring in all these 6 aspects. See, in a material world, when people are exchanging these things, they are at a material platform only. But when devotees perform these activities, they can bring Krishna into their heart, right? When we exchange these, perform these 6 exchanges, we can bring Krishna into other person's heart. So exchanges are same. The principles of living are same between the devotees and non-devotees, but the purpose is different. In the material world, when the businessman or the politician, they are exchanging these things, their motive is different, their purpose is different. But when the devotee does this activity, their purpose is different. Their purpose is to bring Krishna into our heart, to make progress in spiritual life and help others to progress in spiritual life. And also we have to understand, it's not about the content of the gift or of the prasadam which we share with each other, but it's the intent, the intention behind. Intention is more important. It's not about serving chappan bhog to somebody. Oh, I made so many nice or so many variety for you. But what is our intention behind that? Is our intention to trick somebody to get our things done? Are we having that duplicity or diplomacy that if I do this favor for him, if I give something to this person, he will be bound to reciprocate with me or do whatever I want? So these exchanges are not meant to trick devotees to get what we want. It is just to express our loving expression, to have that mutual respect and love. So yes, intention is very important. And one cannot just say also that, oh, simply look at my intention. Why you look at the content also? Well, when their intention is high, then the content also will be good only, right? When your intention is good, you will give something good to somebody, something which is valuable to that person. So these 6 loving exchanges, they enable devotees to express their heart's affection and deepen that relationship. And if we really look at the life of Srila Prabhupada, if we look into the dealings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see how they have created such deep attachment in the heart of devotees by just using the same simple loving exchanges. That devotees became committed to continue the preaching activity for the rest of their lives. Prabhupada, with the simple gesture of this love, by serving them, by giving them prasadam, by giving them some valuable, some gift, how the people became so dedicated and committed. So these 6 exchanges are, we should say, as a cultural principle. Dadhati grahanati guhyam akhyati priyachati bhunkte bhojyate. Now let's talk about today, focus primarily on the first exchanges, receiving and giving gifts, dadhati grahanati. So when we talk about exchanging gift with somebody, gift is something which is useful, which is meaningful to somebody. Right? It's not about just, okay, I did my responsibility. Oh, I was visiting them, so I have to take something. So I took something, I gave them some gift, so be happy. Gift should be something which is useful and meaningful to them. And actually, there is another very important principle. Let's talk about that first before I jump into this. When we are talking about exchanging these gifts, this is also, we have to understand with whom we are exchanging. There is a different level of exchange between our superiors and a different level of exchange between our equals and juniors. When we are dealing with somebody who is superior to us, who is senior to us, the gift which we are giving to them, it should be something which is new, which is something fresh. For example, if the guru comes, right? So you want to offer them something which is new and fresh. You want to give them garland. So you're making a fresh new garland and give to them. You are offering them some maybe nice shawl or some nice sandal, which is new. You want to offer them some nice food preparation, which is fresh. Not that, oh, it has been kept in your fridge for 3 days. Nobody wanted to eat, so let me just offer it to them. So something which is new and fresh, we offer that to our superiors. But when we receive something from our superior, that could be even their mercy. It could be something which is even used by them. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his one, actually Gunji Mala to Raghunath Das Goswami. He gave one of his Shaligram Shila, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had used, which he has held, which he has holding and remembering. He has cried on that. So he gave those as gift to Raghunath Das Goswami. Prabhupada gave his used watch to somebody, and just receiving that watch from Srila Prabhupada, the devotee was so happy. Oh, this is Srila Prabhupada's watch, which he has worn, which he has used. So receiving from our superior should be like their uchishta, somebody which they have used and now they're giving to us as their mercy. On that point, actually, there is a very beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhava speak to Lord Krishna, 11th canto, 6th chapter, 46th verse, I believe. So there, Uddhava is speaking that whatever you have used, if the devotee are using those things as your leftovers, as their uchishta, they can be protected from the influence of Maya. Tve upyukta bhukta sarg gandha vaso alankara charchita uchishta bhojino dasastva mayam jayemahi. So simply by decorating ourselves with the garlands, with the fragrant oils, with the clothes and ornament which you have already enjoyed, and by eating the remnants of your food, uchishta bhojino. So the food which has been enjoyed by Krishna, so we take that as prasad. So by enjoying that remnants of Krishna's prasad, Uddhava is saying your servant will indeed conquer the effects of illusory energy. So when we are receiving some leftover things also from our superiors, we should not think, oh, they are giving me their used things. We should be happy actually. And the principle is the garland which has been worn by Krishna. Krishna has worn that garland and you receive that garland. You should very respectfully wear that garland. Sometimes I have seen devotee feel so shy. They don't want to even wear that garland. Somebody put that garland and immediately they take it off and put it on side as if they want to show humility. Oh, we are very humble. We don't want to keep that nice garland on our body. No, one should keep that garland on their body as long as possible, actually, because that garland has rested on the body of Krishna. And how fortunate you are to receive that garland. So we should not just show that false humility, actually understand the principles behind this. So the principle here is when we are offering something to our superiors, we should always offer something which is fresh, which is new, which is useful to them. And we should try to receive something from them which is even maybe used by them as their prasad. So coming to the point, it should be useful for somebody. I remember one couple of examples actually. One devotee wanted to donate his nice cabinets, kind of a big showcase type of cabinet, right? Generally, we have very heavy wooden something with glass in the front, which can be used as a showcase. So the devotee said, I want to give this to the temple. I want to donate it to the temple. So he said, okay, can we first come to your home and we can check, we can first see if it's really useful for us. Then no, there's no need. I will bring it to the temple. I said, no, first we want to see if it's really useful for us. So he said, oh, you can use it as a showcase to put some books or some other showcase items. So before we could manage or we could arrange for somebody to go to their home and look at that first and then bring to the temple, that person already loaded it and brought to the temple and put it into the welcome area and went away. So later on noticed, yes, this is a very heavy duty, heavy wooden showcase, but the glass is broken, there are cracks in the glass and there's so many scratches or something, and maybe not really much useful. First we have to spend money to fix that one and then really use it, so it's not really useful. So if we really want to gift something, it should be useful. It's not that, oh, I have this extra thing lying on in my house, I need to empty up my space, this has become burdensome for me and I'm trying to get rid of that, so let me just give it to somebody. Another example is somebody moving to India and they had a very old car. They wanted to give that car. They said, I want to donate this car to the temple. So temple they can use this car to deliver lunch boxes to somebody or other grocery shopping and all. So this person left that car in the temple premises. Now the other devotees who are living there, they told the brahmachari, Prabhuji, we want you to first sit and you take the ride first. You should take the first ride. And that Prabhuji said, brahmachari, right? He said, this is anyways used car. It's not that something new. So you can all drive around, no problem. Say, no, Prabhuji, we want you to first go in this car and you first take a first ride. So one devotee took that Prabhuji and let's go for a little ride. And as they drove the car, after going out of the temple complex, after 100 meters, the car stopped. So it's not, they're trying to do the ignition and the car is not even starting. So the Prabhuji came out and said, okay, I can push it and let's see if it starts. So he started pushing it. Couple of other people came and they pushed the car. It finally started. Again sat in the car, another 100 meters, again it stopped. So finally they kind of dragged the car and brought it back and called the devotee, hey, what kind of car is this? It's not even working. After every 100 meters it stops. So he said, yeah, that's the only little problem in this. Otherwise, everything is fine. So that is the main thing. If the engine is not working properly, engine has a check light on, what are we going to do with all the interior? Well, it has nice seat and steering cushion and all that. The main purpose of the car is not fulfilled. And first of all, now the temple has to get rid of that car, and they have to transfer the title, they have to take the insurance, and then maybe sell it to somebody. Better is you first sell this car yourself, and better maybe give whatever Lakshmi comes, then give that to temple. Temple can use it in a right way. So the point I am saying is, if we want to really give something, it should be something which is meaningful, which is useful by somebody. It's not that the quantity matters, right? Oh, I gave a 20 kg puff rice in the temple. See, I gave so much. 20 kg puff rice is like a puff rice is so lightweight. 20 kg means it will fill up a big, maybe box or a big bag. And one may be thinking, see, I gave so much. But what does that 20 kg puff rice really mean? Is it really useful for the temple? Better is to give something which they can use in as per their liking. So there are so many examples like that, and same principle we have to apply in our exchanges with devotees also. Krishna followed those nice exchanges, right? Krishna Sudama, the story which we hear. Sudama wanted to take that chipped rice for gift, because Sudama had that feeling, I'm going to my friend, at least I should take something for him. He had nothing, so he somehow arranged little chipped rice by begging from 5 different houses, just packed that in a little bundle, and tying that bundle in his dhoti, he walked to Dwarika. So he offered that little chipped rice because that's all he could afford. So it's not about the content. It really matters is the intention. His intention was, I really want to give something. I remember we used to go to New Vrindavan for Festival of Inspiration, Mother's Day weekend, about 10 years back, I remember. And there was one devotee, Prabhupada follower, Peter Warwash. He was a tennis player. He used to come there and he will give a very wonderful talk. So he will express, he will share his reciprocation with Prabhupada that whenever Prabhupada will come, he will give some donation to Srila Prabhupada. He will give like $300. And that time, $300 is a big amount. And he was expressing that one time Srila Prabhupada came and he wanted to really give something to him, and he looked into his pocket. There was nothing there. He was trying to find something. At least if I have something, I really want to give to Prabhupada something. Looked inside his pocket. Finally, he found some coins. And that's all he offered to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada took it and he was very happy. It's not about the content you are giving. It's the intention. I really want to give something as my loving reciprocation to my Guru. So it's not that we have to give thousands of dollars. It's about the intention behind. Your intention is to please other person. Your intention is to please your Guru, and you really want to offer something. So Dadhati Pratigrahanati principle is very wonderful principle to develop loving exchanges. And as I mentioned, the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath was so humble, and being pleased by his humility, his humble gesture, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gifted him a Govardhan Shila and a Kunti Mala. And Raghunath Das accepted it more valuable than all the wealth which he had renounced. Actually, Raghunath Das Goswami, he belonged to a multi-millionaire family. He had renounced everything. And he received that gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is like a small Govardhan Shila, a small stone, and a neck bead, kind of a Kantimala. What kind of valuable, if we want to put a price tag to those two things, how much valuable that can be? But he accepted those more valuable than all the wealth which he had renounced. Because this Govardhan Shila is what? It's Krishna. That Kantimala actually represents Radharani. So he treated these gifts of the divine couple. So that is exchange. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing by his own example. And then you know the loving exchange between Lord Ram and Sita. There is it's a little long past time. I will tell very briefly. When Sita was in Lanka, staying in Ashok Vatika, At that time, Sita is being tortured by all these nishacharis, all the rakshasas which are tormenting Sita. And Sita is crying. And that time when Hanuman came to find Mother Sita, Hanuman is hiding in the Ashoka Vriksha. He's sitting on the Ashoka tree. And at that time, Hanuman is thinking, at the night time, I will come in front of Mother Sita and reveal my identity and tell her that I have come as a messenger of Lord Ram. So Sita, in the morning, Ravana came with hundreds of his nishacharis, rakshasis, holding those torches, the fire torches, and trying to chastise Sita. You give up your this insistence, you accept me. And in that way, I will make you the prime queen, the chief of all the queens. And all other nishachari are telling Sita, accept the proposal. See, you are so fortunate. Everybody will like to become the queen of Ravana, but he is behind you, he's after you, he will make you the chief queen. But Sita, because she has so much love for Lord Ram, he is her life and soul. And Sita is praying to Lord Ram, always thinking of Lord Ram, please come rescue me from here. And when Ravana went back, and Hanuman, to pacify Mother Sita, because Sita was thinking, I should commit suicide, actually I should end up my life. She is praying to that Ashoka tree, that your name is Ashoka, where there is no lamentation, where there is no fear. Please make your name fulfilled. Apne naam ko sarthak karo. And on that tree, there were little flowers which were appearing like a fire flames, the small sparks of fire. So she was praying, may that spark of fire come and burn me up. I want to give up my life. And at that time, Hanuman started speaking Ramakatha. That was the first Ramakatha which happened in Lanka. Hanuman did the first katha in Lanka for Mother Sita. So Hanuman started doing Ramakatha. He is speaking all the pastimes of Lord Ram, how Lord Ramchandra took birth in Ayodhya, in the house of Dashrath Maharaj, how he went to the ashram of Vashishta Muni, then how he went to protect the yajna of Vishwamitra, how he went to Mithila and married Sita Devi. So he started speaking all these pastime, and Sita Devi is hearing somebody is speaking about my Lord Ramachandra. So she became pacified, and then Hanuman continued speaking this different pastime, and slowly Hanuman came in front of Sita. And first Sita, when she saw Hanuman, she thought it is some trick of Ravana. Maybe he is also some messenger of Ravana. Ravana had come to trick me. And then Hanuman presented that ring of Lord Ramachandra to Sita Devi. So Hanuman had brought that gift which was given by Lord Ramachandra for Sita Devi, also as a indication, nishani ke liye, ki I am actually the servant of Lord Ramachandra. So now that ring, what does that ring really is? Actually, on that ring, there is name of Lord Ramachandra written. What is the history of that ring? Actually, very interesting. That ring was presented by Janak Maharaj to Lord Ramachandra during the wedding ceremony in front of Dashrath Maharaj and everybody. So Lord Ramachandra had that ring. And once another very wonderful pastime happened. Lord Ramachandra and Sita Devi in their palace, and once Sita Devi had Mana Leela. She was upset with Lord Ramachandra for something. She showed that little anger that I don't want to look or talk to you. And Lord Ramachandra tried to pacify Sita in many ways. He is trying to console her, cajole her, but she is not looking. And Lord Ramachandra did a trick. He took that ring out from his hand and he threw it in one corner of the room, and he is searching in the another corner. Oh, where is that ring? That ring is so dear to me. That was presented to me by my father-in-law. So where is that ring? And Sita Devi saw this ring is in another corner and Ramchandra is looking in a different corner. So she could not contain herself. She spoke. She picked up that ring and gave, here is your ring. You don't even know you are searching in a different place. And at that time, their eyes met with each other. And finally, she gave up her anger. So Lord Ramachandra, so that was Mana Leela, as we hear about Mana Leela happening between Radha and Krishna. So sometimes this Mana Leela happened between Lord Ram and Sita also. So Lord Ramachandra took that ring, actually at that time gave to Mother Sita, that now you keep this ring. And that is the same ring which was Lord Ramachandra, again, Sita Devi took that ring and gave to Lord Ramachandra to give it to that Kevat, right? The Kevat which took Sita and Ram and Lakshman across the Ganges to go to the forest, to Bharadwaj ashram. So that time Sita took that ring and gave to Lord Ramachandra to give it as kind of a, what do you call, for the labor of that Kevat, uske mehnatana ke roop mein. But he, of course, he did not accept. So then Lord Ramachandra kept that ring again with himself. And this is the ring which Lord Ramachandra had sent to Sita again as a gift, that yes, I have not forgotten you. I still remember you. And at that time, Sita Devi took her Chudamani and sent it back to Lord Ramachandra as her gift to him. So we see there is also exchange between Lord Ramachandra and Sita Devi, exchange of love for each other's remembrance. So that exchange of love have to be there, or some exchange have to be there, and that exchange have to be meaningful, which that person can relate to. I will maybe end with 1 minute little this thing. So I also remember I have received so many wonderful gifts from so many wonderful devotees, which I still remember. Whenever I use those, I remember those devotees. Somebody gave me a kurta. Whenever I wear that kurta, of course, I remember that devotee. Oh, he, out of his love, he presented this. And I remember once Kurma Avatar Prabhu, he presented me the clay murti of Lord Ramachandra. And that was the right occasion. Actually, I was starting Ramakatha series and I was doing the setup for the Ramakatha series. So I put that Lord Ramachandra figure on the side while speaking that Ramakatha. So in that whole series, that Lord Ramachandra is next to me sitting there. And now also when I look at that figure of Lord Ramachandra, I remember, oh, this was presented by this wonderful devotee. That was a loving exchange. And actually, some of the devotees commented when they saw that videos of Ramakatha, somebody asked, Prabhuji, from where did you get this figure of Lord Ramachandra? It's so beautiful. So something which is valuable to you, by just seeing that, you remember that devotee who had presented it to you. So today we spoke about basically the principle which govern loving relationships. What are those values which can help us to maintain loving relationship? And out of these 6 exchanges, today we simply touched upon the first principle, dadhati pratigrahanati, exchange of gifts. So we will continue this talk again, very important points in all these 6 principles. We'll try to cover it in the next session. So again, please do not miss that next class also. So I will stop here. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. If anybody has any quick question or comment.
Sir, one comment.
Yes.
Shri Krishna also presented Radharani his Murli.
Yes. So we'll talk more. There are so many examples we can quote on that. Krishna presented to Radharani many gifts, and Krishna presented
That was
gifts
the most dearest gift,
yes,
his Bansuri.
and the gifts which he presented to the queens of Dwarika, Rukmini Devi, Satyabhama. Krishna even went to heaven to bring that Parijata tree, because that was the desire of Satyabhama. I want that Parijata tree, right? So Krishna said, okay, no problem. I will go and I will bring that tree for you. So caring, right? That is caring, fulfilling their needs and expectations. Of course, that expectations has to be reasonable. So we'll talk more on that. Thank you. Any other question, comment? Okay, so if no other question or comment, then we'll end it here. Thank you very much. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much.